The more affluent a society becomes and the more basic material needs are met, the more people care about goods that are inherently scarce. Let me put this in sneaker talk. GRs, they don't do it for some people anymore. It's either chase a collab and you get that W, or it's a brick, right? That's what they call it? Yeah. Don't you love it here?
I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were young.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl TJ back. Another video on Talks with TJ, and this is truly just a short discussion video. Now, I finally mostly finished the Paradox of Choice. Yeah, it took me a minute to finish this because I didn't actually make the dedicated time to sit down every single day and read, and you should do that. Like, that's a very healthy practice, to just sit down and read every single day. Something nonfiction, like get off of social sometimes, because my goodness, it is a very scary and illogical place. But one thing I really liked about this book, there were a lot of things that you could direct to sneakers and tie in and really just kind of analyze from that perspective. And that's what I appreciated. So again, that opening line that I read, that hit home just in terms of the fact, if you're in this game, more than likely, you already have all of your needs met. You also have quite a bit of disposable income, because to chase pairs at the rate at which a lot of us may do, and I'm not saying everyone, so I'm going to use generalizations, 3 to 4 pairs a month, you're at least a minimum looking at $400, and that's only if you're buying like pairs at $100 at retail cost, but most shoes aren't even that anymore for what we're possibly chasing. I mean, a Jordan 1 is $170. If we're talking about a women's Jordan 1, sometimes that bumps up to $180. So you have disposable income. You're definitely chasing wants versus needs. Your basic needs are already met, but they're saying that as we have those needs met, right? As we have the staples in our collection, we have the basics. It could be Vans, it could be Air Force Ones, it can be any number of pairs. Now we are chasing things that are inherently scarce. More people care about the items that are scarce. They're not in abundance. They're not easily accessible. They're hard to get. Like that off-white Air Force One, Brooklyn. How many of you chase that? Just show of hands. If you're watching, just go ahead and raise your hand. Like, you know, just to yourself. I will say this. I didn't even go for it. I honestly I think I was busy at the time, so I wasn't even in a position to go ahead and try to get it. But yeah, listen, my expectations are more real at this point, I think, than anything else when it comes to being able to get my hands on sneakers, especially like the collabs. I'm just realistic now. I'm more realistic. Which, to talk about expectations, that's also in here. All right, so we fast forward a little bit. The lesson here is that high expectations can be counterproductive. We probably can do more to affect the quality of our lives by controlling our expectations than we can by doing virtually anything else. The blessing of modest expectations is that they leave room for many experiences to be a pleasant surprise. The challenge is to find a way to keep expectations modest. Listen, my expectations are in the dirt when it comes to getting anything on sneakers. It's in the dirt. I'm still shocked that I got the Georgetown 6, but that didn't come with, you know, delayed shipping. So I've lowered my expectations in this game as I've witnessed the entire landscape shift and change. And yes, that was due to more resellers, you know, flocking, you know, we can turn to the stimulus money. A number of external factors affected the game. I altered my expectations, and I think that helped with me not being miserable as when we're discussing the state of sneakers, because I see that all the time, all over. Let's discuss the state of sneakers and where is it at? I still am a little frustrated that people consider the sneaker market to be the resale market, because they are very different things. A sneaker market is still healthy and hasn't crashed, because if it did, you would see investors panicking for Nike and Adidas and Reebok, and they're not. They're doing quite fine. Resale market, yeah, that's crashing, and I could care less. I couldn't care less. I just couldn't, because that has nothing to do with me outside of me needing to pay a resale price to be able to get a shoe. So there were some gems in here, absolutely. So if you ever choose to maybe want to read the Paradox of Choice, they also talk about the more visible an item the less that price in terms of value and quality is actually associated with it. And to me, that automatically took my mind to designer, because quite often there are designer items where it is sourced from, you know, better quality materials, but you wouldn't necessarily know what the brand is. It's more of a if you know thing. It's subtle. It's just on the interior of the tag. But for the items that aren't as higher quality, and it's definitely more so about the brand and the outward visible image, the quality isn't always there for the price. Let's look at the Panda Dunk. It's not always there. I'm not saying anything, of course, is wrong. If you want to go buy it, just go buy it. It's not like you're going to listen to me anyway of not buying it. I don't care if you buy it. It is just comical how the Panda Dunk has taken over. I own regular Dunk Lows. I would not pay more than retail, however, for a regular Dunk Low based on the quality of them, unless it's going to be like the cedar. If it's going to be the suede one, then fine. But yeah, it had some interesting points in this book. Sometimes where I was like, wow, good moment of self-reflection. And we think that having more choices is amazing, but it can prove to be like bad. It can prove to be paralyzing. More choices you have, the higher the opportunity cost for every decision that you don't make. And that comes down to, do I chase this shoe? Do I chase that shoe? If I don't chase this one, am I going to regret that later on? And yeah, regrets happen. I don't necessarily like to say a shoe is always slept on, because you could just genuinely not like the shoe. Therefore, it's not slept on. I thought the Midnight Navy 6 would be something I wanted. And after a while, I was just like, nah. I'm sure some will say I slept on that, like they probably will feel I slept on a number of different Jordans that dropped this year. I don't personally feel that way, but you know, hey, opportunity cost is present for everything. You may choose to buy a Jordan or a Nike with the funds that you have. Maybe you're not going after that New Balance, or you're not going after that Yeezy. I would be careful about that if I were you. Could anger some people, but all being said, listen, I always encourage people, read, get off of social for a little bit, and, you know, reflect on just your actual behavior and perspective and how you may see things. And it helps to relate it to something you're passionate about, like sneakers. So again, discussion video. This is not directly about shoes and not a review, so I anticipate the views will reflect as such. But if you tuned in, thank you. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.